Okay, for the final today, we're going to discuss a common Linux administration task, which is backing up a live website running on a Linux server. So here I have a live site here on my remote server, which I'm currently shelled into. And so the first step here is going to switch to the user that owns the site rather than the root user. Change to the home directory of that user. And so our first step is going to be creating the directory where we keep our local backups. We're going to call this remote backups. Now we're going to be syncing this folder with an online folder at a remote location, which we're going to use Google Drive to do. Google Drive is free for up to 15 gigabytes, very reliable, and is very cheap in case you do need more space later on. And there just happens to be a really good command line client for Google Drive available on GitHub. So we're going to get this script. We're going to make a directory for it, and we're going to grab it, this Linux 64-bit version, with wget. It comes in with kind of an ugly name, so we're going to move that to a useful name like G drive. And we're going to give it executable permissions with chmod 700. And we're going to configure it the first time we run it by using the about command. That gives us a link that we're going to use to verify our Google account. It's going to ask me to allow it access to Google Drive and give me this verification code that we're going to paste into here. Alright, back in the home directory, we're going to work on our script. Well, first we're going to create our remote backup location. So we're going to try this G drive command. And we're going to say mkdir remote backups. And I'm going to copy this token that it gave us here. I'm going to reload this to make sure that the directory appeared. There it is. Okay. Alright, here's the script. It's a bash script you can see on the first line. We're going to set some global variables for this script. The document root of the website is public HTML. The backup directory is remote backups. The name of the backup we're going to create is going to be the name of the website plus a date command that adds the year, month, day, hour, and minute that the backup was run, .tar.gz. And then we're going to get some configuration options from the file that contains the database access credentials, the wp-config file. We're going to do this by grepping for the database name from that file and piping the output of that line to awk, using the awk flag to use a delimiter of a single quote. The way that this line works in wp-config is there are 4 groups of text delimited by this single quote. So we're going to grab the 4th chunk of code, which is going to be the name or value that we need. Same awk script for each the name, user, and password. We're going to make a name for the file that'll hold the database dump. So that again is the database name plus that same date command we ran before, .sql.gz. We have the path to the G drive executable here. And this final bit here is where we tell it what Google Drive thinks that the name of our directory is, which is that code we got when we created the directory. Now we're going to perform a MySQL dump on the database. So MySQL dump -u user -p password, making sure not to have a space in between the p and the password. Pipe that to gzip and to the file that we created for the database dump. Since that database dump is in public HTML, it's publicly available, so I'm going to chmod that so that it's not visible to the public and make my tarball of the public HTML folder. Finally, I'm going to remove that database that we created a second ago, the SQL dump, and in order to save disk space, we're going to remove any backups older than 5 weeks old. So we're going to use the find command with its mtime flag of 35 days. the exec flag of find to rm-f any token that matches that criteria. And finally, we're going to execute the command G drive to synchronize and upload the folder. Delete extraneous will remove any of the files that this line removed. The chunk size I had defined by trial and error, that's half of the default value. I was exceeding my bandwidth limits using the default value. So now we're going to go ahead and save that file, and let's give it a run to see if it works. I'm going to run it. Okay, it seems to have completed, and there's the backup file. So the last thing we need to do to automate these backups is edit the cron tab with the cron tab -e command. I'm going to run my cron job at 2:17 a.m. on Saturday mornings using the bash shell to execute the full path of my script. Save that to the cron job, and we now have an automatic backup script that will keep backups of your file, of your website, automatically for you.